Child, how you gonna show up to the red carpet with no drawers on? How? Hey y'all, it's your girl Shells. Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I am reviewing the much anticipated Met Gala red carpet, which was themed in honor of Karl, referring to Karl Lagerfeld. Before we get into it, subscribe to this channel, like this vid, and let's see what these celebrities wore. We're gonna get into the best dressed celebrities because they were on theme and they still brought something extra to the table. First up, we have Anne Hathaway, and she wore Versace. I thought her gown was a good example of blending the two houses' sensibilities together. So first, the fact that it was made in tweed, which was a sweet nod to Coco Chanel, but then it also incorporated a lot of the signatures from the Versace house, including the clothespins, the slashes, and just that overall edgy attitude. I thought Anne did a good job of not just showing up in another look, which maybe you'd expect, but bringing something a little extra from another designer. She also had the camellia flower in her hairstyle, which was a gentle nod to Coco Chanel. Next up, we have Anok Yai, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. I mean well, I promise. But look at this. Doesn't she look like a vision? She's giving you body, she's giving you face. She looked absolutely stunning in this strapless, hand sculpted, giving you wide hips, giving you bedazzle, giving you shimmer. She looked like chocolate wrapped in gold. I thought she looked so beautiful. She wore Pabal Gurong. I know, I was surprised too. And I love how it flowed into this like French for more fluidity and a disco ball vibe. The only thing I would change about the dress is the train, that like transparent sort of like tulle material. I don't think it was necessary, and had we removed it, the whole overall styling and dress probably would have looked a little crisper. But all in all, she killed it. Easily one of the best dressed in my opinion. Next up, we have Dua Lipa, who looked to the archives and brought back this couture look from fall 1992. It consists of this corseted top and a wide pannier skirt. I thought she looked beautiful. She dressed the part. She said, I'm the co-chair, so I'm gonna show up accordingly. You know, it wasn't anything cookie cutter, overly drama, or unexpected. You've never seen it before, but it just was beautiful and it understood the assignment. Next up, my girl Doja Cat showed up to work, okay? You gotta give it to her because I don't know too many people who would take that risk. So Doja Cat, as you can probably guess, showed up as Choupette, Karl Lagerfeld's very famous and very wealthy cat. And I respect her so much because I feel like she doesn't care about being pretty or sexy in a traditional sense. I mean, let's think about her red hat ensemble from the Schiaparelli Haute Couture show. She will take risks, she will commit to a theme, and she'll give you something to remember. Which, compared to Jared Leto, for example, who was a little too on the nose and was very literal with it, she committed to it in a different way. The cat ears, the makeup, a very slinky silhouette. I love my girl Doja, and she deserves her respect. So thank you for your service, Doja. We appreciate you. Next up, we have Janelle Monae, and we know a Tom Brown look when we see it. The designer has built such a recognizable brand for himself, and while he's known for the gray color, to stay on theme, this time the look was made in the signature black and white. I love the way that it got incorporated to create a really striking visual effect, and it was also made in the iconic tweed fabric. If you haven't noticed, she was also wearing a Choupette bag, which is funny because Tom Brown usually makes the bag that references his dog, so this time he swapped it up to be again on theme. I didn't mind the structure underneath. I thought it made for just a very dramatic silhouette. And when Janelle started taking it all off, which is the part that maybe lost me a little bit, it still felt very fitting for the Tom Brown sort of like show that we've known and has come to the fore recently. So all in all, I liked it. I thought she looked great, and the clothes obviously looked so well made. Next up, we have Michaela Coel, who was dripping luxury in custom Schiaparelli. Her, what a flex, y'all, to be wearing custom Schiaparelli under a carpet. Goals. So the jewels were inspired by designs created by Karl Lagerfeld, but Daniel Rosenberry put his own spin to it. As you could see, some human anatomy elements, some shapes. It's very quirky, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it all just looks so put together and beautiful. Most importantly, I want to live in Planet Schiaparelli. I've been saying this and I will keep saying that, down to the toes, you know, the literal toe shoes. I think Michaela really served. She gave us a moment that we will all remember. Next up, Bad Bunny, who made his debut in an unexpected brand for him, Jacquemus, and I have to give it to him because it was clean and it was beautifully made. Like, if you look in the back and the hem of the pants, there might have been some unresolved issues there, but the sleeves that sort of trailed into this gorgeous rosette train, and just the crisp white suit, even the unexpected open back. All in all, I felt like he delivered, and if I saw this, I definitely want to see Bad Bunny next year. Next up, Penelope Cruz. She and Jura must have been on the same page because they both showed up in archival bridal looks. Hers is from spring 1988. She looks so stunning. I love the mantilla and how it paid homage to her Spanish heritage. All in all, it's a slave for me. Honorable mentions go out to Nicole Kidman and Gisele Bundchen. Don't mean to butcher her name. See what I did there? Did not mean to. They both reference themselves wearing exact dresses from Gisele, her 2007 Harper's Bazaar editorial, and Nicole Kidman, her 2004 iconic number 5 Chanel ad. If you don't know, the number 5 is really what kicked off Chanel's business because it was so wildly popular. Until this day, it is reported to be making Chanel an easy 3 to 4 billions a year just off of that. So I love those fashion history moments. So shout out to Gisele and Nicole Kidman for bringing that up. Honorable mentions also go out to Kristen Stewart, who I sometimes have a beef with on the red carpet and her Chanel contract. Like, she sometimes just gives me no energy, but I actually thought she was on theme, but also felt true to herself, wearing this suit that was designed by Karl Lagerfeld and staying true to her androgynous style. So good for her. Honorable mention goes to Margot Robbie, who wore Cindy Crawford's 1993 Chanel gown, which consisted of this like see-through corset with like some gold piping. And she's been going through it with her Chanel contract, and we're all waiting for it to end. But I think last night she delivered. It was just a classic, elegant look. Also in the honorable mentions is Teyana Taylor, who wore this tweed suit that paid homage to Karl Lagerfeld, but also incorporated her signature sexy attitude with the hip cutouts. I just love her vibe. And now, in this category that I like to call let down / it existed, we're gonna start out with Lizzo. And this one cut deep because I know my girl Lizzo can and has in fact brought it on the red carpet several times. But this time, although she was on theme wearing an archival look, it just felt so crafty to me and just so expected. Like, she threw on a black dress and layered all her pearls, clutched all her pearls over it, and then she wore the gloves, which were kind of confusing to me, but I know it's still reference Karl Lagerfeld. It just, yeah, I'm sorry, it was a letdown, and I'm still hurt by it. Next up, Kylie Jenner, and before y'all come for me, and it's not like she has a history of killing it on the red carpet, so can't exactly call it a letdown. That dress from JPG by Hader is hot, okay? There's no going around it. It's well made, it's beautiful, it's form-fitting, it's hot. But it just felt more appropriate for an after-party look than the red carpet. And when she was interviewed, she was like, I'm just here to have a good time. And it shows, so good for her, more power to her. Next up, Kim K, who after the whole Marilyn Monroe controversy of last year decided to keep a low-key profile. And I can respect that, but I didn't feel anything from her outfit. It felt sort of low effort, And this isn't to say that effort wasn't put into the dress, because it was dripping in Schiaparelli pearls, lots of them. It took 1,000 hours to make, but it just felt so literal and just, okay, I'm just gonna layer the pearls on and call it a day. I thought the look lacked a certain elegance, a certain refinement, and it wasn't really a moment to me. It just existed. I don't know how else to say it. Next up, we have Lil Nas X, and we need to talk about this, because child, how you gonna show up to the Met carpet with no drawers on? How? It was so flashy in a tacky way. I know Lil Nas, like, he's never gonna give you boring. And this outfit not only existed, but you remember it for all the wrong reasons. And I'm upset. Next up, we have Halle Bailey. Oh, okay, Chris. Halle Bailey in Gucci. I feel like she continues to not live up to her wardrobe potential. She has such an important role as Ariel, and you could tell she's been trying to like channel it into her costumes. But in this case, like, the color fell flat, the material wasn't particularly compelling. I want better for my girl, Bailey. Next up, Cardi B, who always puts in an effort. I will never take that away from her, and no one can deny that Cardi B, especially on the Met Gala red carpet, is a moment. But I felt like in this particular case, it was a little too convoluted with the mix of inspirations. And so she had the rosettes at the bottom in this dramatic wide hip skirt, and she had Karl Lagerfeld on top, and I felt like the two didn't necessarily blend well together. And then you add the hair, it was just too many confusing elements at once, too many ideas. The look could have done with a little bit of editing. Next up, we have Kerry Washington, whose Met Gala red carpet style isn't the most memorable and was even less so after last night. She wore this two-piece set for Michaela Coel, which featured this lacy bra top and this siren skirt. And I know it was like lace and sparkle, but that sometimes doesn't go far enough in making it look exciting. It just felt sort of boring and like drama. She's not pushing it enough when it comes to her wardrobe on the red carpet, at least, and it doesn't live up to the caliber of woman that she is. Plus, when styled with this blazer and this necklace, felt completely uninspired. Next up, we have Keke Palmer, who wore this strapless sweet gown from Sergio Hudson. Shout out to her for repping a black designer. And while I love the look, I just didn't think it was one of her best moments. But again, I'll also give her grace because she's a new mom, and I'm just happy to see her there. Next up, we have J-Lo in Ralph Lauren, and her outfit could have totally blended in the background because she served us exactly what we could have expected and what we already know her for. The brand of sexy, conservative somewhat, but not really, and just kind of boring. Next up, we have Rihanna, who made everyone wait, and the outfit didn't really give like that. I appreciate the concept of the pregnant Chanel bride, which is an archival moment recreated, but it was really safe. And Valentino did this camellia covered cape with the dress that also incorporated it, and it all just felt really safe, very predictable. And it's also worth mentioning that camellia was Coco's favorite thing and not so much Carl, so there wasn't a direct connection to Carl. More so Chanel, which is fine, but again, the moment didn't really live up to the weight and the expectations. Now for the worst dress, aka my hell nah category, we're gonna start with Amanda Seyfried. Again, I did with these names, but she looked like she was having a fight with somebody and the dress was the result. So let's run it back. Next we have Ice Spice and Balmain, and the reason she's in my worst dress category is because this was her debut, and she a body, she knows she a 10, and didn't she serve this? You know, if it wasn't for the little sheer inserts that showed a hint of skin, the look could have been completely forgettable. But as it was already forgettable. So where the body at? Next up, we have Serena Williams in Gucci, and my girl needs a new stylist bad, because this Gucci moment was not it. What with the blazer styling, the tulle at the bottom, the embellishments at random spots, it just looked like a high school craft project. And someone on Twitter said that she looked like the first lady of the church, and I can't unsee it. I can't unsee it. Again, this is no critique of her, and congratulations on her +1, but I am dreaming of a better style match for my girl, because she's an icon and she would deserve. Next up, we have Gigi Hadid in Givenchy, and that Givenchy look should have stayed where it was. Tulle, sheer, flowers, nothing groundbreaking. And I failed to see the complete connection to the theme, other than maybe sometimes like Karl Lagerfeld would use airy, light, drapey fabrics to convey a sense of like frivolity. But again, this is me probably doing too much explaining. I don't think Gigi put that much thought into it. She just showed up and she was trying to kick it with her bestie, and the look just gave exactly that. Next up, we have Kendall Jenner, who was on that same vibe of just like play. I just showed up because for all the talk she gave about being grateful to Karl for supporting her as she was getting her modeling career off the ground, the least she could have done is wear a Karl Lagerfeld design, or Chanel by Karl Lagerfeld design, or Fendi or Chloe or Balmain. Like, she's Kendall Jenner. She has access to all the stylists, all the wardrobes, all the archival collections. She could literally pull any piece, and the least she could have done is reference Karl directly. So that's my thing. Next up, we have Ashley Graham and Harris Reid. Her dress reminded us, and this might have been the reference, of a classic Thierry Mugler design, only it wasn't as well executed. Instead, it kind of looked like a perfume bottle, and I just will leave it at that. Next up, we have Gab Union, and she's only in this category because yesterday was her night off. She said, y'all just gonna get this dress and my matching leather coat, and that's it. And I can help but stand. Next up, we have Rita Ora, and I think some of us are always surprised to see her at the Met Gala. And if we're going off her outfits alone, like, she would not be reinvited. Her dress just was so convoluted. It looked a little messy, what with like the sheer and then the sort of draped tulle, the random sort of like flower insertions, the kind of lazily referenced Chanel. I just think Rita Ora needs to ask herself some questions when it comes to her style, and I would like to see an improvement. There you have it, my Met Gala red carpet review, which wasn't based solely on people meeting the theme, whether or not they did, but also how well their ideas and styling were executed. So let me know what you guys think. Who are your favorites? Who did I forget? Let me know your best, worst, letdowns, meh, hell nah, I don't know, it existed, everything. Don't forget to like this video if you want to see more celeb reviews. Give this channel a subscribe. Don't forget to hit the button. And I will say overall that the theme itself, being so limited to one person, might have narrowed the overall scope of creativity, which didn't allow for a multitude of interpretations of his work outside of maybe simply recreating it. So I'm excited to see kind of a broader scope next time. Maybe that speaks to just like the mood and the overall vibe. So yeah, if y'all want to brainstorm some themes with me in the comments, let's go. And until then, see you next time.